Fans of 2001's hand-holding simulation Eco can finally take heart. The team behind that game has returned with its latest offering, Shadow of the Colossus, but while the games share a similar visual style, their gameplay is almost completely different. Shadow is all about pitting you against some of the biggest foes you've ever seen, and over the course of your adventure you'll experience some of the most thrilling and unique battles ever seen in video gaming. The game has a mysterious storyline that purposefully doesn't fill you in on every detail. You play the role of a warrior who's brought his fallen love to a faraway temple in order to restore her to life. The only way you can do that is by searching for and defeating 16 enormous mythical beasts that roam the countryside. You'll immediately grab your sword and your bow and arrow and head out with your trusty steed in search of these beasts. The gameplay in Shadow of the Colossus is completely focused on your epic battles with the Colossi. You won't fight any enemies in between the boss fights, you won't level up your character, and you won't gain any new weapons. Finding a Colossus is as simple as heading out into the sunlight and holding up your magical sword. This will create a beam of light that points you to your next destination, and then you just have to go there. The vast world in which the game takes place is an absolute joy to explore. You'll travel through plains, forests, and deserts, wander through underground caverns, and swim across wide lakes as you search for a way to reach your next enemy. Each of the 16 Colossi has a really creative and unique design, and you'll have to use a combination of your sword, your bow, the environment, and especially your wits to defeat them all. Each monster has one or more weak points, usually located on their heads or otherwise high up on their bodies, and you'll often have to climb right up them to reach these points and bring them down. This actually feels as much like a puzzle game as it does an action game, since you have to use a lot of problem solving and experimentation to figure out the solution to each Colossus. You'll do a lot of climbing, hanging on, and flailing around as the Colossi thrash and try to fling you off, and this makes the battles incredibly exciting to watch and to play. The controls for jumping and grabbing aren't as responsive as in more action-focused games, and they take a little getting used to, but you get the hang of it quickly. And don't be concerned that you're basically only fighting a series of boss battles throughout the entire game. If the designers had included a bunch of trivial enemies and menial puzzles in between the Colossi, it would have just diluted the game's purity of focus. This is truly a stunning game to look at. The same artistic fluences that made Eco so pretty are clearly at work in this new game as well. The world is immaculately detailed, the characters animate with lifelike expressiveness, and the Colossi are all imposing giants that shake the very earth with their footsteps. The frame rate gets a little low sometimes when the action heats up, but aside from that fairly minor issue, this is one of the most beautiful games to grace the PlayStation 2. It's also one of the most unique games on the PS2, or any platform for that matter. You've never seen or played battles quite like the ones in Shadow of the Colossus, and the game's larger-than-life action makes it easily recommendable to anybody with an appreciation for cerebral, slightly offbeat adventure.